have the knowledge to stop disease. That I will promise you today. We are at the threshold. We have the knowledge to reinvent the genetic sequencing within our body, and we have done it. Many of you have done it naturally. And by the way, that should make people wake up and pay attention, because in this program today, you're going to find out how some of you have given up your medications, reversed your aging process, and done it with ease. The years start rolling back and the diseases are not going to be manifested. Disease can only exist where there's conflict. In the absence of conflict, there is bliss. And bliss is where healing occurs. So let's...
Just joining us, two young men apparently opened.
see. You'd come to New York State this summer. If you could play where I'll play. If you could enjoy what I'll enjoy. If you could read what I'll read. You'll come to New York State. One which is just off in the Atlantic, moving towards the Maritimes. Let's look at our systems now. We'll show you exactly what we...
Seen those misleading ads, you know, like for $19.99 you can have this exquisite piece of jewelry or something like that. We've all been taken in at one time or another, and to tell you what you can do about it, join
who care about our health and don't want to get prematurely old and want to reverse the aging that has occurred because of faulty living, we now know it's about choices. And we know it's about commitment. How much of a commitment are we willing to make to ourselves? That may seem self-evident. Well, sure, we'll make a complete commitment. We don't want to get sick and age. Okay, but standing between you and ideal health is all of your values and your beliefs, and sometimes they don't reconcile with health. Sometimes they actually create disease, in which case you're going to have to identify those qualities and get them out of your life and replace them with life-affirming values. And that's what this segment's about. We've learned already that we have to make the right selection with foods, and we can't just have comfort foods. So we're detoxing, cleansing, rejuvenating, and rebuilding. We learned about rejuvenating the mind and the nutrients and how to de-stress and not let everything become a stress crisis. Looking at things in proper perspective. Are we living in the moment? Living in the moment means that you created balance again. You're detoxifying your lifestyle. If you can't live in the moment, then wherever else you're living is toxic. If you can't honor your life, then whoever's life you are honoring is toxic. And all that's aging you prematurely. Learn how to make better judgments. And how do you make better judgments? Trust in your intuition. There's a reason we have intuition. We've been led to believe that only science can provide us the answers with life. That's wrong. Science can provide us with some answers, and science can improve the quality of our lives on many levels, but it cannot replace the essentialness of our spirit. That is something that is non-mechanistic, non-linear, non-Newtonian. That is something that is holistic. It is complete. All we have to do is go within. Why are baby boomers in particular in trouble? Because we've tried so hard to prove our value and worth. Whatever we had was never enough, and we didn't want to have just what our parents had because we didn't think they had enough. So we wanted to show everyone that we would be smarter, get more educated, make more money, buy better things, and be prouder of ourselves. Well, look at all the major diseases today. Look at how many families have kids that they bought all the right educational tools for, give them all the right classes in karate and dance and singing and ballet, and the kids are on drugs. The kids are alienated from their own parents. Because the one thing those baby boomers might have forgot along the way is nothing in the world replaces that little passage of time at each year of a child's life where the only thing that counts is you. The kid doesn't want the class, the kid wants us. How often are kids in classes because we force them in? Because we wanted to perform to honor our ego needs. That's a wrong thing. If you're sharing as a human being and not allowing, whether you're male or female, young or old, rich or poor, educated or not, and where you take out all artificial separation, you're dealing one human being to another. then think of all that you can share. Think of the richness of a life that can be taken back into the community. Think of all the people who could help counsel children who need that counseling today. Think of all the truants and delinquents. Think of the people on crack cocaine and alcohol. Think of the people that need counseling. Think of the people who needed someone there when they were making a transition and had no one there, made the wrong choices. It's not too late to change some of those choices. We are all different life energies. We're not all the same. We've been told that we all need the same amount of vitamins. We don't. We've been told we have the same lifestyle. We shouldn't. That if we all live in the same community and work at the same job, we should have all the same needs. We don't. Some of us are creative, and therefore our needs are different. We're more passionate about life and relationships and work. Some of us are more like worker ants. We're more productive at specific issues, and we don't want to see the big picture. Some people don't see the small issue, can't do details, but love big pictures. They're conceptualizers. Why can't we understand that we're each unique and honor our uniqueness instead of trying to fit our uniqueness into some standardized form and then wonder why we're always frustrated, working at jobs we feel frustrated by, underutilizing our potential as human beings? How many people underutilize themselves and then get angry, so they drink, or they take drugs, or they gamble? They do something destructive to take off the edge, so they sublimate. If we were a happy society, if we were spiritually connected, we wouldn't be rushing off all the time to do something destructive. I would suggest the following. I would suggest that we take time to decide, who are we really? Who are you really? What makes you different? What would you love to do? Now, I didn't say what can you do. You may be imperfectly trained to do something that you don't like doing. Right now in this moment, to stop and reverse your aging process, you have to decide who you want to be when you finally grow up. And how many times did you perfect someone else's life and now are angry because you got so successful, but there was no fulfillment? If there's no fulfillment in doing the little things, and you only think there's going to be fulfillment in the big things, you have bought into the wrong life energy. So honor who you are. I know friends of mine who are lawyers decided one day they didn't like being lawyers. One of them is an animal keeper and works in the children's zoo and is delighted, so happy. He's lost weight, he is detoxified, he sticks with a healthy relationship. Before he had multiple relationships, they were all toxic. He was toxic. Well, how do you expect not to infect everything you touch, including people, if you're not healthy and happy? So honor who you are. And how you do that is spending quality time alone, introspection through prayer, through meditation, through guided visualization, through affirmation. But decide that whatever you're thinking in your heart of hearts, that's the process you're going to follow. Start over. Who says that we can't change our lives? We can change our lives. There's no law that says you have to stick with a career because you were educated in it. No. Change if it means change. Get out of unhealthy situations and start over. Now, as far as diet and juices, and to help each of these groups, remember, we want to revitalize, rejuvenate, restore, and rebalance. And that's what we can do on this program. By taking in every day 4 glasses of fresh organic vegetable and fruit juices. We know that these help rejuvenate, cleanse, and eliminate toxins and rebuild tissue. We know that we don't have to be eating all the food we're currently eating, but that means making a commitment to be 100% in control of people and didn't find that there was a lot of benefit because I didn't counsel on the spiritual or emotional level. Now I do counsel on the spiritual and emotional level. Try to get people to reevaluate what their beliefs are. Are your beliefs toxic? Look, if your beliefs are toxic, what you do is going to be toxic. You're going to be toxic even if you don't want to. You have to have the honesty to look at your values and beliefs and say, are these something I want to honor? Are these good? Or are they reactionary? Are they racist? Are they sexist? Are they biased? Do they exclude other people? In which case, we like to think that, oh gee whiz, it has to come from Harvard or MIT in a test tube where they genetically engineer something. Look, the only reason they're looking there is because that's where the money is. I say we don't need the drugs to control aging because we don't need the drug to affect how we feel, how we can be the last stage before